They got swept.
I'm gonna look it
Tell
up
you they
then.
got swept. While he looks that up, I'm
It's
putting.
like 4 months ago. Wow.
It is like 4 months ago.
Gee
The
whiz.
football started.
Good point.
Yeah. Oklahoma City, I think, is they're not this machine. I was a big advocator. I will admit this on camera, holding it down. I was a big advocator of, and Devin can attest to this, of Russell Westbrook being the reason that Kevin Durant couldn't take his game to the next level. And just being Russell Westbrook taking too many shots and preventing Kevin Durant from being the flat-out superstar that he could be. But I think he's still the superstar. I just think that without Russell Westbrook, this team is ordinary.
I agree.
They have the best scorer in the league, and that's it. They're ordinary. Russell Westbrook makes this team go. Whether or not he's not a traditional point guard, but the dude can jump out the gym.
Yeah.
He can dunk on anybody.
Yeah.
He can shoot the ball. You know, it's say what he wants. He's not a prototypical point guard, but he can facilitate the offense for what that's worth. You know, he can drive and dish.
Yeah.
And honestly, from a point guard, you want a guy that can drive and dish because he's a threat to score the ball. It's not just a guy like a Raymond Felton who's going to drive the ball, but the defense is not concerned that he's going to score it.
Yeah.
When Russell Westbrook drives the lane, you have to throw two guys have to drop down on defense in the paint to protect the rim, which is going to leave somebody open on the perimeter.
Okay.
Namely, Kevin Durant, either on one-on-one coverage with anybody on every man-on-man coverage on Kevin Durant. He has the flat out, reach of a jump shot. He's out shooting most people. It's like a Dirk Nowitzki. Just his overall length, he's shooting over everybody. So his shot is, he's money on man-on-man coverage. Especially with a guy like Westbrook driving the lane, just requiring so much attention. This team is just ordinary, personally. Without Westbrook, they're just,
But I think
they're not moving mountains.
Back to your point though about and just to get back to what you said, it was Memphis though.
Did they sweep them or no?
They won the next 4 games. OKC won the first game though.
Okay.
And they won the next.
Somebody got swept. I don't know who.
Yeah,
but somebody got swept in the West.
Yeah, but you know what it is? This team has gotten worse each year in the offseason.
I agree.
First Harden, and now this year
listen,
Kevin Martin.
Hey, that's right. Kevin Martin's gone.
And they haven't addressed that issue either each season since.
That's a good point. They have not done that.
So back to when you saying, Westbrook driving the lane and to an open teammate. I mean,
kicking out to?
If Durant's open, if Durant is guarded, who's he passing to? Dabo, whatever the guy's name is.
I don't even remember the guy.
Doesn't matter.
That's a good point. Because
Jeremy Lamb, he's okay, but
you know what? There isn't much going on in Oklahoma outside of Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook.
There's not.
There really isn't. They've got 2 superstar players. They have no other pieces. Serge Ibaka is a defensive guy in the middle. That's his job. He's not scoring 8 points.
He'll give you a nice little 14-footer, 15-footer,
He's scoring 8 points. That's not helping you win games.
Okay.
He's scoring 8 points.
Okay.
His job is defense. But they got nobody else filling up any points.
Derek Fisher. He got 6 rings.
Let's see, 60?
Well, 5 rings. I'm sorry. Okay.
He's got a lot of rings.
Same as Kobe.
Same as Kobe. You know what? Oklahoma City. But you know what? Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook are so good that this is a playoff team. You can't say they're not a playoff team.
No, they are.
They're a playoff team. I just don't think, it's going to be interesting coming down because I don't think they have the pieces outside of Westbrook and Durant to really drive them. It's funny how when Harden left, everybody was like, oh, let him go. It's not going to be that big of a deal.
But
could you imagine if Harden was still there? They'd be the best team in the conference.
Well, would it be this hard? It wouldn't be the Harden we know now, though.
You know what?
They couldn't have...
I think he would be starting with the pieces that they have now. He'd be starting. Was he coming off the bench before? He was giving them the spark off the bench.
That would be too much scoring,
You can't say he wouldn't...
You can't have that much scoring on start the game.
I would. I'm just gunning out the gate. Like I'm trying to put up 40 in the first quarter. Why not? I'm just trying to blow you out in the first quarter.
And then what if you don't?
Look, man, you shit out of luck. So, like, what do you want me to say?
Pedal to the metal each game. First quarter, every quarter.
Pedals to the metal, baby, driving it.
I guess.
Look, we spent too much time in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
They're in the playoffs, so let's move on. Portland. How do you feel about Portland? I mean, you got...
They're far. I mean, you know.
It is far. I mean, I lived on that side of the country for a year. It's a nice place.
But you know what?
A lot of vagabonds in Portland.
I'll just move on from that. I like Portland.
Wesley Matthews.
Yeah.
My fantasy team.
I guess, but I like LA though.
With your boy Damien.
Oh, yeah, I like him too. Whatever. But I like LaMarcus Aldridge. Like he is.
I mean, you can't not like him.
He should be. Nah, I shouldn't say that. I was gonna say, you know, best forward in the league. But I mean, as long as Kevin Love's still there and. But he's definitely, maybe
he's up there.
1A,
He's definitely he's in the conversation. Absolutely.
He
top
is,
forwards in the NBA.
Points, boards, defense, he just, whatever.
He gets you what you need. Absolutely.
Definitely.
I definitely agree with that. Portland is
well, yeah, they'll be in the mix.
They're in the mix. We'll see where they stand.
The guy CJ McCullough, who was one of the top scorers in college last year. But we'll see what happens. He's injured right now, so
see how that works out for them. Minnesota, just speaking of the aforementioned there, Kevin Love, who stepped in and seemed like he didn't miss a beat. Was he out all year last year? I don't even remember.
He missed a good portion of the year.
He might as well have missed the whole year last year. Comes in and right off the gate, we were talking like 30 points. What was it 14? Something like that. Bad business as usual for Kevin Love. I don't know how he does it. What is he? Putting up threes.
Yeah, he had the big three to tie the game, send it to overtime.
I don't know how this guy does it. I would love for somebody to explain it to me, but he's a double-double machine. I don't know where he came from or what planet he dropped off from, but just like that, all of a sudden a couple years ago, you're talking about he's the best forward in the league. I mean, it's points, rebounds, he's doing it all. He's carrying the Timberwolves on his back. He should probably leave there and come to the Knicks.
Well, yeah, I mean, I heard a lot of rumors of him, going to LA, so,
I mean, he could be the face of the franchise. Kobe's not going to be there for, talking about Clippers or Lakers?
Well, either one, really. I mean, he's a Cali guy, so,
He's a Cali guy.
And he wants out of Minnesota,
Who wouldn't want out of Minnesota? It's Minnesota.
Good point.
Minnesota wants out of Minnesota. I don't think what are the pieces they have in Minnesota? You got Kevin Love and who else? You got Ricky Rubio. He's good too.
He's one of those guys who you would love to play with. He looks fun to play with.
He does look fun to play with.
I don't play ball, but he looks fun to play with. So
I'll agree with that.
Other than those two, Kevin Martin, who I mentioned earlier.
Aforementioned, OKC and teams who's not replacing good players. Kevin Martin, they got some players that they might be able to rally off some wins here in the Western Conference.
You got the center, the foreign guy who's a double game guy, but
they're an interesting team there in the West.
They are, but their big thing is health.
That seems to be the
pretty much.
That seems to be the big tone of our the NBA discussion is health.
Rubio, Martin, all of them, just Love.
The whole lot.
Pretty much.
The whole lot. Any one of those guys goes down, that could be a detriment for the whole season, I think.
Yeah, I would agree.
Boom. Utah.
Yeah, I think they might be holding the cards in the Andrew Wiggins sweepstakes. They're definitely.
Are we putting a nail in Utah right now? Are we putting the nail in the coffin in Utah right now?
I think they'll.
Who's their best player?
Derek Favors. Got on my fancy team. He's a double guy.
And then who?
Gordon Hayward. He's cool. Cool white guy. It's Utah.
I'm gonna put the nail in the coffin on the Utah Jazz for this year. I'm stamping that. Yeah, Karl Malone is not walking through the doors. Neither is John Stockton.
Yeah.
Neither is Jeff Hornacek.
Because he's coaching right now, that's why. Coaching the Suns.
Denver. Nate Robinson. 23 points tonight.
Denver's like the Atlanta Hawks of the Western Conference. They'll be.
That's a good analogy there. That's a good comparison.
They'll just be in the mix. They'll be 4, 5, 6 seeds.
Danilo Gallinari. The team that acquired 18 players in the Carmelo Anthony trade.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, I think the Knicks still got the better of that trade. And as time goes along, as Denver starts to wade away, the Knicks still got the better of the trade, in my personal opinion.
Yeah. Denver's just Denver. They'll be, they'll go.
Denver
they'll be great at home and okay on the road.
Of course they'll be great at home. All Denver teams are great at home. It's the Mile High.
Hey. They'll play at a fast pace and, I don't know.
The Northwest, got some good teams there. Got some question marks. Moving on to the next division in the Western Conference. Another name of division that I hate. Southwest. This is really not Southwest.
Southwest Eastern Conference.
It's all Texas. Oh my God, I hate you.
I'm just saying. I don't make the rules.
We just break them, right?
Yeah, DX.
Let's start out with the clear-cut favorite, San Antonio. Duncan, Parker, Ginobili, still in the discussion. Parker's still Parker. He's still playing at a high level. He's not quite over that hill yet. I mean, Parker's, 32, 33?
He's relatively young.
Yeah,
he came out when he was 18, right?
He's not over, played those years in, France?
Yeah.
He's not over that hill yet. He's not Duncan, where Duncan and Ginobili are.
No, I think, but he might be maybe 30 now.
Who, Parker?
Yeah, because he came out when he was 18, and that was 2002, I guess, when he played the Nets in the finals.
You might be right. Give me an age. Give me an age on Tony Parker.
Tony Parker.
Give me a rundown on Tony Parker. Ginobili. Greg Popovich is arguably the best coach in the NBA.
Yes.
Pop. Duncan and Ginobili will play off and on the whole year. Duncan's hurt now. But honestly, Duncan and Ginobili could not play the first 40 games and the Spurs would still be the best team in the conference. I mean, Kawhi Leonard, Danny Green. San Antonio is the epitome of doing it the right way. They bring in young players, they bring in young good players, they keep the cycle moving. It's not just, they're not in a position where the Lakers are in, where you've had great stars and you've had Kobe for so many years, and now Kobe's at the tail end of his career and the Lakers look like shit. So the Spurs are there. They've got young pieces, they've got young guys outside of the big three in San Antonio, and Thiago Splitter's playing good. I was watching him throwing floaters over people.
Thiago Splitter.
I don't even know how and why he's playing good, but he just is. It's San Antonio. It's Greg Popovich is arguably, like I said, the best coach in the NBA. They'll be in there. They're top team in the conference. You might as well just rest Duncan and Ginobili all year and just be done with that. So what do we got on Tony Parker?
He is actually 31 years old.
31?
Yeah,
Tony Parker's...
He's born in 82.
Look at that. Who knew? Tony Parker knew.
Yeah, 12-year vet. Wow.
12 years, only 31.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what happens. He's come out when he's 18 or so.
That is what I mean. That's like Kobe, right?
Well, yeah, but still, Kobe's Kobe.
How many years he got in the league? Was he in 16, 17, 18, something?
Came out in 96, so what's the math on that?
Don't ask me about math.
17 years now, I guess.
What's Kobe now? 36?
35, 36? I don't like math either, so.
Yeah, well, yeah.
He's in mid-30s.
Holding it down, where mathematics is not our strong point. San Antonio. We don't even... Dallas. Monte Ellis.
Yeah, and Dirk, who's pretty much
Dirk is at the end of his line. We've understood. We've all watched Dirk be great. He won his championship.
Yeah, he got his ring, so he could.
He played Dirk was in his prime. Dirk was lights out.
Yeah.
He was lights out. When in his prime, he was the best. That best scorer, best forward in the league. Dirk was a force from the perimeter.
That 1 foot fadeaway and
can't beat that. It's 7-footer, 1 foot fadeaway. You can't block it. You can't guard it. You can't guard that. Can't guard it. But you know he's at the end of his line. Yeah. But I think the Mavericks.
Yeah, the Mavericks another team that's just gonna be just in the mix. They'll be toward the bottom.
They're hovering. They're just.
I mean, just Dirk and as you mentioned,
Monte Ellis.
Yeah, I mean, you got Vince Carter. You know, you got Sean Marion. I mean, yeah.
The Mavericks like the older version of the Spurs. I don't even know that's possible.
Jose Calderon. I mean,
oh God.
Yeah.
They're just hanging around. I'm not putting a nail in Dallas by any means because just based on talent, but we'll get to our 8 for the playoffs rest, in the West. Yeah. But Houston. Dwight Howard. The Dwight Howard effect.
Yeah, I mean
James Harden's putting up 26 a night.
Houston's gonna be in the mix, of course. You know, you got Dwight in.
How is Zeke gonna play with Dwight, behind Dwight? I don't know how they're doing it, 2-man rotation.
Yeah,
that should be the best 1-2 defensive punch in you know as for front court.
Yeah, but also
they haven't put it together yet.
But also the Warriors offensively too. You want both chilling the paint offensively.
You know, we've had Dwight Howard discussions. It wasn't until tonight that I actually watched some portion of Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard is terrible on offense. He has no post moves. Dwight Howard is abysmal on offense. Like I didn't think he was that bad.
It was like year 9 for him. You know,
that's like ridiculous. You can't be considered the best big man in basketball. Had no post moves. He got nothing.
Hey.
They said he was working with Olajuwon.
Maybe Elijah.
He must not have been. He must not have been paying attention.
No, maybe it's like Jerome Olajuwon.
His post. I got better post moves than Dwight Howard.
It was like Q's brother. That's what it was.
Oh my God.
It was Simi.
Oh my goodness.
Simi Olajuwon.
I can't. He's the best defensive player maybe in basketball in the post with no post moves. He should be dominating people. And look at this.
Listen, he has other priorities, yo. You know, take care of his, 15 kids. You know.
Oh God.
I'm insane. But Houston's they'll be in the mix.
Houston will be in the mix.
Yeah, they'll be.
And Dwight Noah is illegitimate kids.
Yeah.
Memphis.
You know what?
This is a tough division.
It is, but Memphis is an enigma in the team for me. Like they,
Marc Gasol.
Zach Randolph. Like I like this team. You know, another.
They're physical.
They're like the Indiana version.
They're like the Pacers of the Western Conference. Yes.
But they haven't addressed the same issue they had for the last few years. They have no outside scoring.
There you
go. They had Rudy Gay, and he was a knockdown shooter, but whatever. They traded him, but they didn't bring anyone else. Mike Miller they brought in. I mean, Mike Miller's cool, but he ain't playing 82 games for you. He'll give you 8 or 2 games. He's gonna give you 82 games.
Maybe 18 games.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Knees Miller.
Pondexter. I mean, who's really the guy?
Mike Conley. I mean, he's
a
facilitator.
He is, but I mean,
he's a fantasy point guard, which means he's putting up numbers somewhere.
Yes, correct. There's no guy on there to be like, you know what? Give me a bucket. I'm giving you the ball. Give me a bucket. I'm like Tony Allen.
Nope.
I mean,
I'll agree with that.
Prince. I don't know. Like
this is
as long as they have those two guys, and also Zach Randolph, he's maybe like nearing like he's getting up there too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, age wise might be kind of relatively young, but as far as years in the league, and mileage.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're definitely the Pacers-ish of the. Yeah. I think the Pacers might be. I think the Pacers are better.
No. Yeah, the Pacers are better
than Memphis.
And compared to them, the Pacers are like the Suns, so like 05. I mean, compared to them, shoot.
But those top defensive teams, you're talking, Chicago, Indiana, Memphis.
Memphis is right there.
They're right up there. But I think where Chicago differs is that they have that player. You have a player. You have Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
You have a guy to say, okay, give me a bucket, just like the other night.
Or a couple buckets.
Give me a bucket, a couple bucket.
Yeah.
They beat the Knicks on the last second shot by Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
So in a game where they up until that point they had scored 80 points.
Yeah.
So and were held the Knicks to 81 points. So the defense is there, but in that same scenario, you look at a team like Memphis. Who are they giving the ball to with 5 seconds left? Say, give me a bucket.
Yeah. You know.
Correct. Okay.
They want to just muck it up and slow.
But they're there. They're in the conversation in the West.
Definitely,
You can't. I mean, the West is way more wide open, I think, than the East. And which brings us to the New Orleans Pelicans, which I hate with a passion. By the way,
hey,
I'm not letting this go. I'm sorry. This is a professional basketball team. This is a professional team. Pelicans is not a professional team name. I'm sorry. I don't care.
Bird.
I don't care what a state bird. I don't care what the logo looks like. And who picked that? It was a state bird. What other team that uses a state bird as their freaking look? This is a professional team. Pelicans is not acceptable.
Whoa.
That's not acceptable. This is not a CFL team.
It's a beautiful bird.
It's not a WNBA team. It's a beautiful bird. Have you seen a pelican?
Yeah, you got the big beak, right? Don't it? Ain't the one with the beak?
Yeah, catching fish and things.
Exactly. Yes, that's the one. Yes.
That's not the logo. The logo has a long... Listen.
Oh.
It's the Pelicans.
Yeah, you see them on the beach on a little thing, a little wood stand thing, and
Horrible. It's a horrible name.
Go poop down the water, get the fish, and go up.
Horrible name.
Pelican.
I told you Light Post would have been a better name. Lighthouse. The New Orleans Lighthouse.
Yeah. How about the crawfish? How about that?
New Orleans Crawfish. That would have been better than Pelicans. And the New Orleans Lobsters. That would have been better than Pelicans.
Lobsters?
Lobsters.
There's lobsters everywhere.
I don't care. It's New Orleans. And crawfish.
There's lobsters everywhere, though.
Listen, the New Orleans
a steak?
Popeye's chicken. Anything's better than Pelicans. I'm sorry. That's it. That's how I feel about it. You know that's how I feel about it.
Okay.
Who they got? Anthony Davis. Who overnight or over the summer apparently became the best young big man in basketball.
One of the best.
One of the best.
Yeah.
I did say young. That's why.
I'm saying we have other young ones. You have my man Boogie Cousins again.
Boogie Cousins. Apparently, but Anthony Davis has taken his game to a whole nother level. That
because his level before that wasn't as good. So
it's the eyebrow. It's the brow.
Unibrow.
It's the brow. It's the brow. I think that's
the most famous unibrow in the country.
Yeah, probably. Probably. Who else they got?
They have now they have Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday. Okay.
They have
Don't worry, I'll wait.
Eric Gordon, who's he's always injured, but he can fill it up.
There's that word again.
Hey, listen. Tariq Evans.
So the aforementioned.
So kind of have a log jam at guard position.
Are there any other big men on this team?
No, big man. Well, Anthony Davis. He's like 6'10", wingspan of
20 guards on this team.
Wingspan of like 8 feet, 9 feet, 12 feet. I don't know.
He's a beast.
And so
it's a tough division though.
Yeah, you gotta have a lamb at the bottom of the bottom division. Someone to beat up on. So they'll take their bruises, their lumps.
Oh, they're gonna take their bruises. All right, let's round out this conference. San Antonio's the class of the conference.
Of the
West.
Of their division, you think so?
Who else you got over San Antonio in the Western Conference?
Clippers.
You put the Clippers over San Antonio?
Golden State. Golden State is the only team in the playoffs that gave them trouble. And it wasn't for a Steph Curry injury, they could have beat them. They should have won Game 1. The game was lost in overtime, and then another game they went to overtime.
San Antonio should have won Game 6 of the NBA Finals.
You can't play a shoulda game now.
See,
you can't play that game.
Oh, now we can't play a shoulda game.
What are we talking about? Here and now, we're talking about.
Wow.
But I think Golden State. Well, of course, barring any injury, of course.
I'd have to agree with that. I could agree with that. they're sexy. You gotta like Golden State. They shoot the lights out. San Antonio, listen. San Antonio can shoot the lights out too. So Danny Green spotted him in the corner. Kawhi Leonard is.
And they're the ones who swept the Grizzlies.
Golden State?
No, San Antonio.
San Antonio. See? Grizzlies. Somebody got swept. I told you. Grizzlies were involved in a sweeping last year.
Yes.
Well, they were on the receiving end.
Yes.
I love it. Listen, either way you slice it, even if there's no clear cut like in the East, San Antonio's in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Golden State's in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Clippers in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Memphis is in the playoffs. Oklahoma City's in the playoffs.
Houston.
I'm putting Houston in the playoffs just based on sheer star power. You have to.
What's that, 6?
That is 6 teams right now in.
Okay.
Here's where it gets dicey, because as always, the Western Conference is always wide open. They're more a log jam of better teams towards the end of towards the bottom of the conference, but they're there. I mean.
Yeah.
Can we put a nail in New Orleans then?
No.
No?
No.
Can't we just do it just because it's Pelicans?
How about we just refer to them as just New Orleans and just not
That's
mention...
too much to say.
NOLA?
Oh, God. That's even worse. And I hate the Nolans thing.
Fine. I don't know. Gumbo? What do you want to call it?
The New Orleans Gumbo. That would have been a better name than Pelicans.
Let's call them Gumbo then,
Oh, my God. I'm just going to call them the Unibrows.
Okay, even better. That's cool.
That is even better. That would have been a better name than Pelicans, too.
But no, I won't...
Okay, listen, somebody's got to get the...
So we have two spots.
We've got 2 spots,
Okay.
and you've got the Lakers. You've got the Kings. Are you putting a nail in the Kings, or are you leaving them in the conversation?
I'm leaving the conversation.
You've got the Lakers. You've got the Kings. You've got the Timberwolves, the Nuggets, the Trailblazers. Are you putting the coffin in the Trailblazers here? Only 2 teams. Only 2 spots left.
You know what? I'd rather put 2 teams in those spots, and not put the
Okay.
the
Kibosh.
or, yeah, exactly.
Lakers, Kings, Trailblazers, Nuggets, Timberwolves, Mavericks,
I think,
and the New Orleans Lighthouses.
What about the beads? They throw
The beads, New Orleans beads.
They throw the beads, Well,
New Orleans beads might work. How about Tigers?
Tigers.
New Orleans Tigers. Why not?
Why?
I don't know. LSU.
So because the school's called Tigers, you gotta.
Sure. Why not? Tigers is better than Pelicans. There's no cats, is there? The NBA has no cats, right?
Bobcats.
Yeah, but that was just recently.
Okay, but why?
And they're getting ready to go back to Hornets anyway.
But why Tigers though?
Why not?
There's Tigers all around the world.
There are Tigers all around the world.
So why just New Orleans? They're not known for Tigers.
LSU Tigers.
Yeah, but that's just because it's a school.
Sure.
Schools, all schools named themselves after animals.
Yeah, but there's no animals.
Did
you ever notice that there's a large void of animal names for NBA teams?
Yeah, because they're professional teams, though. That'd be ridiculous. Animals. I'm a grown man, dog.
60% of the NFL teams is animals.
That's different, though.
Now it's different.
That makes sense.
I guess football's a more rugged sport, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. Duh.
We can put some cats in here. We got the Bulls. That's not a cat, but I'm just saying it's an animal.
That's a bull, though. That's a bull.
Honestly, the Bulls were the only team here that really had an animal other than the Timberwolves.
What about Knickerbocker?
That's not an animal.
What is that?
That's a person?
Is it? What's a Knickerbocker?
Look that up. Person?
What am I, stat guy? Look at everything.
Stats. Bam. And the Hawks.
Go Knickerbocker.
And the Hawks. Completely, we've gotten off topic.
Hey.
The New Orleans Tigers. You leaving them in the conversation?
Who?
The New Orleans Tigers.
I'm leaving them to be leaving them, but I'm not gonna put them in.
Okay, so now you have to pick 2 now.
Yeah,
out of 7 teams here.
I like Minnesota.
Do you like Minnesota enough to put them in the playoffs?
If they're healthy, yeah.
If they're healthy.
I mean, we gotta play.
If LA's healthy, they could make if Kobe comes back before the All-Star game, they could.
Okay, but what I'm saying is I'm putting Minnesota in now.
Are you putting Minnesota in?
Yes.
you're putting Minnesota in. Minnesota's in. That leaves you one spot. Lakers, Kings, Trailblazers, Nuggets, Mavericks, New Orleans Tigers.
I guess. I mean, if Kobe comes in December. You know,
see, LA's the question mark. If Kobe's back before the All-Star break or by the All-Star break, the Lakers could. I can see where this is going. What if Kobe is not back till well after the All-Star break?
That's February.
It's February.
That's a long time.
It's a long time. It's a bad injury. Even for the Black Mamba. We had to at least get that in once. That's like the best. That's like one of the greatest nicknames in a long time.
What about the Red Mamba?
Who was the Red Mamba?
Matt Bonner. What? Red Mamba.
That just taints the whole Black Mamba thing. Why?
Because it's red?
Because it's
Matt Bonner.
Because it's Matt Bonner.
Why? I mean, Kobe kind of, he validated it. He said, cool. Does it make it any better because you validated it? I mean...
No, it doesn't.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Black Mamba's one of the coolest nicknames come around in a long time. I'm just putting that out there.
Okay.
So, you got one team to pick. If Kobe's not back by the All-Star break, who you putting in? Kings, Trailblazers, Nuggets, Mavericks.
Oh yeah, that about the Nuggets too, right?
Tiger. Yes, Nuggets. Nate Robinson. Just walk off the bench.
I'll put the Nuggets in there.
Ooh, Nuggets? You sure? Got your boy Boogie Cousins.
Yeah, I mean, just him there. You know, I'm so mad he can be up for the contract extension too.
He did.
Yeah.
No pieces in Sacramento. I'm taking Sacramento out of this equation.
Fine.
No pieces there.
I guess. All right, Nuggets.
Nuggets?
Yeah, Nuggets.
Or Lakers? You putting in Lakers if Kobe's back by the All-Star break.
Before. Yeah, maybe before.
And if not, Nuggets.
Yeah, I mean, I like Nuggets. I don't know, it's hard, yo.
Well, your only options left are Portland and Dallas. Because you're not putting the New Orleans Tigers in.
No.
I refuse to call them Pelicans.
Yeah.
I'm not putting them in. I'm sorry.
Last two spots is between Minnesota, LA, and Nuggets.
Correct.
Okay.
Not even Dallas because they don't have the. That's the older version of the Spurs.
Yeah, and it's Dallas. So I'll just let those two just battle it out. You know.
Portland, Denver, and LA.
Yeah. Three-way.
You like Portland? Well, Portland's good. Portland's got pieces.
Yeah, I like Portland. You know, but I don't like them more than.
So we putting a three-way for 8th. Put this down. I can put it down like that.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Okay, I'm good with that.
They'll
I'll put it down like that. They will figure it out. I'll put it down like that. So, San Antonio, Clippers, OKC, Houston, Memphis. You put Golden State. You put Minnesota in flat out. And for the 8th spot, a log jam of the Lakers, of course, provided Kobe's back before or by the All-Star break, before. Portland and Denver. So that's going to round out the Western Conference. So, with that said, let's pick from... let's start in the East, and let's go with the Miami Heat versus the Field for the Eastern Conference. Where you at with that?
I like Miami.
Like Miami against the Field.
I like Miami. Until they beat, I gotta go with champs.
I could say I will take the Field, but I like the Pacers.
From the Field.
From the Field, and not just that, I think the Pacers can beat the Heat.
I mean, yes, I agree. They can beat them. I mean...
I tell you, even more so on this. This is the going out on the limb portion. Bold predictions, if you will.
Bold prediction.
If Danny Granger is healthy by season's end, and I don't mean coming back by the end of the season, I mean finishing out the season healthy going into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So whether that be mid-season or whatever. If Danny Granger is healthy going into the playoffs from whence the end of the season, the Indiana Pacers will beat the Miami Heat in the playoffs.
You have a game you want to pick, you know, would it be 7 games?
7
5
games. 7 games.
Okay. Okay, that's a nice, I guess, statement to make. You know, it's not bold, you know. It's not going on a limb, but, you know.
Some people might say it's going out on a limb.
Okay.
I think Miami is flawed after LeBron.
I mean, what team isn't flawed?
Yeah, I think the Pacers are less flawed, though. With Danny Granger.
Okay.
Danny Granger is the X factor in this equation, mind you.
The X factor?
He is the X factor. Because he can provide the offense with that guy that says, I need a bucket, even though Paul George kind of stepped up as kind of that guy last year. But with Danny Granger on the court, because Danny Granger, as far as I know, is not a defensive specialist by any means.
He's not.
He's a scorer.
Mm-hmm.
Danny Granger is that guy.
Okay.
And with Paul George on the court, whew, and George Hill.
Okay. Now, 2 years ago, didn't Miami beat the same team with Paul George and I understand it wasn't the same Paul George.
It's not the same Paul George.
Okay.
And it's not the same Roy Hibbert.
Okay, they didn't have Chris Bosh either.
Ah, come on. Chris Bosh. How much stock are we putting in on Chris Bosh?
Okay.
You putting the chips in on Chris Bosh?
I'm just saying. I was making a statement. However you feel about the statement, I just made a statement.
Fair enough.
Okay.
With Danny Granger, the Pacers have beaten the Heat in the playoffs. Probably in the Eastern Conference Finals.
If they get there, they'll get to Chicago first.
This is true.
Or the Knicks or whoever they may face.
This is true. I mean, it's tough for me to stand here and say this with the Knicks on the table, but it's...
Yeah. And, you know, you never know with...
I just don't think the Bulls have enough outside of Rose. So if Paul George takes Rose out of the game for... Not necessarily take him out of the game, but if Paul George makes Derrick Rose shoot 8 for 20, there's not much going on in Chicago outside of Derrick Rose where they can beat the Pacers.